Evening Shade premieres Friday, September 21st.
In the small town of Evening Shade, Arkansas, high school coach Wood Newton has his hands full.
I have not won a game in 2.5 years.
His luck could be changing. Meet his new assistant.
I guess you know a little bit about football, huh?
No.
But today's his birthday, and his wife Ava has a special surprise.
I'm pregnant.
Coach seems a little down.
He's got those over the hill, my wife's off the pill, and my vasectomy didn't take blues.
Burt Reynolds heads an all-star cast in Evening Shade, Mondays on CBS.
Hi, Lindsay.
Oh, hi, Ronald.
What's new?
Nothing. Everybody says I'm too little.
Really?
I'm thinking of running away to McDonaldland.
McDonaldland? That's where I'm from.
Yeah, I hear it's really nice.
I hear where you're from is really nice, too.
It's okay.
Yeah, because you've got that basketball hoop over your garage and your back porch. It has that great wind chime.
I made that at summer camp
Plus, there's that beautiful field.
where I chase butterflies.
Hey, when you're in McDonaldland, who's going to make the decorations for your dad's birthday party? Who's going to be the snowflake in the school play?
Ronald.
Who's going to feed Mr. Goldfish?
Hey, Ronald, I think I hear my mom calling me.
Oh, okay. Bye, Lindsay.
Sunday, deck the halls with music and stars on an all-new Ed Sullivan special.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
With new performances by Johnny Mathis, Paul Anka, Della Reese, The Muppets, and Bing Crosby from Ed's Best Christmas Shows with Diana Ross and the Supremes, Frank Sinatra, Liza Minnelli, The Beatles, Elvis, Neil Diamond, The Temptations, and more.
Don't go away.
Bob Newhart hosts a holiday medley of Christmas past and present. Holiday greetings from Ed Sullivan Sunday. Monday, it's Burt and Bob back-to-back. First, Burt's stranded a long way from home.
Tell my dad gets home on time for Christmas.
Look at the bright side. We got each other.
It's Christmas on Evening Shade. Then, will Bob catch the Christmas spirit?
Bob, look, mistletoe.
Oh, honey, don't eat that. It's poisonous.
It's a Burt and Bob Christmas Monday.
Hawaii. Exotic, romantic, mysterious, and home to the island's most unlikely partners.
Oh, I just love it.
Jonathan Raven
You're always getting yourself in over your head.
and his sidekick, Ski.
We've been through a lot together. Most of it's your fault.
In all new adventures when Raven returns.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Saturday, January 2nd.
This is CBS.
My front porch swing, a glass of lemonade, a baby on my knee, I think I got it made. You best be believing I'm never leaving Evening Shade. Got a southern breeze singing through the pines, cool as a julep in the summertime. You best be believing I'm never leaving Evening Shade. They got 10-cent stores, no locks on the doors, and everybody knows your name. They got Sunday school, the golden rule, and every day that passes is slower than molasses, and you can't help but smile, lying in the shade. So come on down and you be glad you stayed. Don't talk about leaving, I'm never leaving Evening Shade.
Sitcom, all ye faithful, a Christmas podcast special, where for the fourth time I discuss 25 Christmas sitcom episodes. Please come and listen as we count down to Christmas. You should see Punky Brewster, the Partridges and Benson. Michael J. Fox will return, and for one more year the Fonz will definitely have one last episode episode with the Fonz. In evening shade, we ain't afraid to get a little late. Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to Sitcom. Are ye faithful? Where today I once again am watching a show that I've never seen an episode of, a show that I never thought I'd actually watch, a show that I went down on my list. I have a spreadsheet of specific shows with specific episodes that I want to get to. And then I have just a list of sitcoms that I haven't even looked at yet. And I was looking down, I said, I want to get an earlier show. I was hoping to get something from the 80s, but I found this and I said, you know what? This is the show I want to do. There were two episodes I wanted to choose from. I almost went with the first one, the first season episode, but then I saw that some of the cast, I thought that some of the cast that wasn't in this early season would be in the later episode. And I guess I kind of got it wrong. It looks like they've been in just about every episode, the most of the cast that I'm looking at here. It's just maybe they weren't in a specific episode. Like, I don't think one of the actors was in the episode that I saw today. Oh, and by the way, that show, ladies and gentlemen, a show that I'd never seen an episode of yet. I specifically remember walking by, I think at the beach cottage, my grandparents had us at for a couple of weeks every year. I remember walking by, seeing grandmother and grandfather watching a mustachioed man with a very curly head of hair, a curly head of hair that I don't remember seeing all that well a decade prior. Yes, I'm talking about the one and only show, Evening Shade, a show that ran for 99 episodes from 1990 to 1994. This show ran the complete length of my high school career. And if you asked me today, what is the Evening Shade? I would say, ladies and gentlemen, it's a sitcom where Burt Reynolds and his real life wife, Lonnie Anderson, lived in a small town, and I was completely wrong about who the wife was. If you asked me yesterday who the wife was in Evening Shade, I would have said, oh, it's Lonnie Anderson, right? No. It was friggin' Mary Lou Henner. Of course, everyone knows her mostly from Johnny Dangerously, but she was also in a little-known sitcom called Taxi, Mary Lou Henner, and she remembers every episode, every moment of this, because she has the most perfect memory. I'd like to ask her specifically about working with Burt Reynolds, because she remembers all of it. She has like a is it a photographic or photogenic memory where she remembers everything, which is like some sort of brilliant genius level stuff. And I'd be like, what was it like to work with Burt? Did he always smell like cigars? Because in this episode, he just lights one up in the middle of a car garage, I think just because he wanted to. I don't even know if it's in the script. It's like, Burt wants to smoke, let him smoke. This show had kind of an all-star cast when you look at it here. And you don't think of it. It's not talked about all that much. I read in some trivia that Burt Reynolds said some of the most fun he'd ever had was on this show. Now, this is 94. Is this when he went on to like be in Striptease? And then a couple years later, he's in Boogie Nights. And the Burt Reynolds, you think of three things. You think of Norm Macdonald and like the joke of Burt Reynolds and how he's kind of foreseen as like a curmudgeon, kind of bit of a prick. But the guy can act when he wants to, when he's given something good, he can act. He is friggin' fantastic in Stroker Ace. I don't know if you've seen Stroker Ace, but he's also really good in Boogie Nights. Growing up, I don't want to say I grew up on Burt Reynolds, but I kind of did in a way. Like he held a special place in my brother's hearts because of the Bandit, mostly because of the Bandit, but really also because of J.J. McClure in the Cannonball Run films. Those movies, while everyone looks at Smokey and the Bandit as kind of a better movie, a more beloved film, something about the Cannonball Run movies, I think it's him and Dom DeLuise working together. It's the outtakes, it's the side characters, it's the ridiculousness of it. And it's just the timing of when I was a kid too. Those are the movies that really hold up for me. But we did love Stroker Ace. We loved of course, Smokey and the Bandit 2. And when he showed up in 1 second in Smokey and the Bandit 3, Deliverance. Okay, he's in Deliverance, right? I've never seen it. What's the one where he's like the stunt man and he's like, "Hey, I've never seen anyone with bunny eyes before," and it's that famous stunt guy. I can't even think of it, but there were so many films that Burt Reynolds, and he was just, besides being, in some of these big movies when I was a kid, he was also just kind of an institution. It is like, oh, Burt Reynolds, he was like a quintessential movie star, from a different era. And yet in 1990, he decided to come to network sitcom television. Now, at the time, that probably looks like a real step down from a movie star. Nowadays, someone does a TV show, they'll be like, wow, that's, wow, look at this prestige television they're doing. I mean, maybe not a family sitcom, but I think it's still in 1990. It was probably looked like, wow, he has to do TV now. But he did this for 99 episodes. And is this show not in syndication anywhere? Is 100 the law for syndication, or is that just what a nice round number that networks and affiliates look for? Now, I talked about the cast of this show. Besides Burt Reynolds, Mary Lou Henner as his wife, which, raised some eyebrows for me. I'm going to do some math a little bit. Also featuring Ossie Davis, who I guess narrated the episodes at the beginning and the end. I don't even know if I noticed that. Charles Durning, friggin' Charles Durning. The guy's been in a million things. Yes, okay, I know mostly as Doc something or other in the Muppet movie. And Michael Jeter, he's the one who I think became famous because of this. Like, this was his breakout. This was the breakout performance for the show. Even to this day, I didn't know his character's name, but if you said Michael Jeter and you showed me this picture, but that's the guy from Evening Shade, I would know that. Hal Holbrook plays Burt Reynolds' father-in-law in the show, and I believe he's about 13 years older than Burt Reynolds. Now, I was talking about math. I noticed in this show, Burt Reynolds has 4 kids. Now, he should be having grandkids at this point, but in this show, now I'm going by real life ages, okay? Burt Reynolds is 56 years old when this show is being filmed. When this episode is happening, he is 56 years old. Mary Lou Henner is 40 years old. Now, okay, 16 years. It's a big leap. I've seen bigger. And when you reach a certain age, age doesn't matter all that much. But they have a son played by J.R. Ferguson. I looked at that name. I said, I know that name. Why do I know that name? Oh, now, right now he's on the Connors, but I know him from Mad Men. He was on Mad Men for a couple of years. What was his character's name on Mad Men? His character's name on Mad Men was Stan Rizzo. He was on there for 46 episodes. So he plays their oldest son. Now, at the time of the filming of this episode, he's 18 years old, which means that Wood Newton, because that's Burt Reynolds' character, was 38 years old when he had his first son. Okay, he was a little older. Mary Lou Henner was 22. Okay, you doing the math now? Mary Lou Henner was 22 when she had a son with a 38-year-old man, while Hal Holbrook is going like, what the hell? I know this guy used to play for the NFL, but this is crazy. Yes, the story is, and I didn't quite make the connection. They called him coach, so I thought he was a high school coach. Burt decides to wear a Steelers jacket, I think, because he wanted to, and I think he decided we're going to be Steelers fans. And I guess he played for the Steelers. Wood Newton is a former NFL player who returns to his small town of Evening Shade. Now, I don't know if he grew up there. I have no idea. I don't know if he met his wife there. I have no idea. I went into this completely blind, but he comes back and he coaches high school, and Michael Jeter plays his assistant coach. Now, they have 4 kids, okay? There was a girl who was 12. So Wood is 44 at this point. Ava's 28. That's the parents. That's Burt Reynolds and Mary Lou Henner. Then there's a little boy who is, so this time Wood will be 49 and she's only 33. It's just how math works. It just seems a little, I guess, you know what? He married a younger woman and she wants to have kids while she can. And she doesn't care that Wood's going to be dead in a few years. because the youngest daughter was only, I guess, born at the end of the first season, where he would have been in his 50s and she was 38. Now, at some point, Mary Lou Henner's looking around going, what am I doing with this old guy? I'm friggin' Mary Lou Henner. I can do better than this fake permed, beautiful mustachioed former, former Adonis. I'll say it. Burt Reynolds, he had a time where he was just a good looking man. Now he's an older guy who thinks he's, still cool. And he's holding on to the guy held on to his hair up until, his death. So like he wore a big cowboy hat in this episode that made me think of Turd Ferguson. I mean, it just made me think of Norm Macdonald and doing the Burt Reynolds. And at some point, I think he looks at people like, I don't even want to be here. Like even in the picture that I used for this episode, he has a side glance look that it's like, is this the character that's supposed to be annoyed, or is this Burt Reynolds who's angry for being here? I don't know exactly. So the main gist of this episode is Charles Durning is playing Santa at some outdoor bazaar. One of their kids, I don't know, they had so many kids. Their little boy, not their baby, the little boy goes up and he's like, Santa, I want this race car track. Those track slot racers that you'd have as a kid, where you put the car on the track and you'd have the little gun that you'd use to squeeze the button and the car goes around and blah, blah, blah. So he wants one of those, but that's the big race, the big toy, and it's really hard to get. So they make all these calls around, and Burt finds one that's 4 hours away. So he and Herman, Michael Jeter's character, go off to get the race car. And then they call later and they say, we got it, but they're stuck. They're stuck. It's some car repair shop mechanic. Couldn't think of words. They basically have to spend most of Christmas Eve there. At the same time, Charles Durning's character and his wife are Marlene and Harlan, which apparently they had a spin-off of one episode, maybe, that Burt Reynolds directed. Oh, Burt Reynolds also directed this. I feel like Burt Reynolds like, yeah, I'm going to direct another one. I'm going to direct this one. I feel like sometimes he'd show up, be like, who's the director? Nah, I'm going to do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. You can go. So Charles Durning turns out his wife has been reading all these books about Christmas around the world. So they've decided they're going to do some Brazilian Christmas, I think it was, where you kill an ox and there's a dance. And so they have to demonstrate the dance. And at one point they're dancing. It's like, you have to kill the ox. And they do it in front of everyone. And Ossie Davis is like, what am I doing here? There was a couple chuckles with that. The biggest laugh I think I got out of the episode was when Wood and Herman, they're stuck in the mechanic shop, and Wood's like reminiscing. He's sitting back smoking a cigar around all these, oily cloths and everything. Nothing, what could possibly go wrong? And he's reminiscing, and Herman goes to sit down. I don't know if he did physical comedy all the time, but he goes to sit down and he's thinking about stuff too. And he sits in these tires, and it's like a stack of tires, but they're like almost just the rubber rims, like they're very squishy. So he sinks into them, like almost where his feet are almost up by his head, and he falls over. Very simple, nothing, highbrow, but it worked. His reaction, the physicality of it made me laugh. That was really the whole episode. It wasn't like much going on. In fact, the episode ended. They got home. He's like, I got the tip. I got the toy. Yay, let's go in the house. And then it just goes to credits. And they're like, thanks for coming by to Evening Shade. I mean, it was really simple. It was 23 minutes long. I liked the theme song. It was very sappy. And that's probably why I played the whole thing at the beginning. I had to do it. I had to play it. And so I did. And yeah, that's just the way. Sometimes I feel like I have to play a full theme song. And this time I did. So and I use it to fill up some time because, this is a little bit of a shorter episode. I watched it this morning. Well, I watched it around lunchtime today, and I didn't talk about it until now, but I definitely was like, Burt is too old. Never mind, is he too old for Mary Lou Henner? Burt's too old to have these kids. Like his oldest son could be his grandson. I guess if he's 56, wait a minute, if he's 56, no, 38 would be a little crazy to be a grandfather. And nowadays 38 seems really normal. It's just, he basically had a child bride. So I don't think I actually went through the quick details that this was the season 3 episode 12 episode of Evening Shade, and it's called I'll Be Home for Christmas because he'll be home to bring this friggin' toy to his stinking son that he's way too old to be having. And it originally aired December 21st, 1992. So I am not yet dating my wife. I'm about a year away from that, but I am still in high school. 92. So December of 92, I'm a junior. I'm a junior in high school and probably really close to getting a 7 on a biology test. Now, let's see what else was airing on December 21st, 1992. On ABC, let's go through ABC first. We have Untold Stories, FBI Untold Stories, Border Kill. So it's some sort of hour-long, documentary, followed by American Detective. I don't know what that is. Followed by Monday Night Football. That's the Dallas Cowboys when they were a juggernaut, beat Atlanta Falcons 41-17. And folks, it is Monday night right now. And the Dallas Cowboys are on Monday Night Football right now. And they are currently tied with the Cincinnati Bengals 7-7. On NBC, we have The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was a repeat, followed by a brand new Blossom and a brand new movie, Just My Imagination. I don't see anything about Fox. It's 92 and there's no Fox listing. There says Channel 4, and I don't know if that's considered Fox. I don't know what's going on here. So we're going to have to skip Fox. And what was on CBS that evening? Well, at 8 o'clock, it's yours truly, Evening Shade. I'll Be Home for Christmas, a brand new episode, followed by Hearts of Fire. Yes, John Ritter, Marky Post, and Billy Bob Thornton in a sitcom, Wild the Thomasons, it's called. And there's links. Oh, this has links to buy DVD. Well, that's interesting. I should put these links in every show episode where the date is. I should list these listings. It's followed by a repeat of Murphy Brown. And then at 9:30, Bob, which I think in the show that I watched, it talked about a new Bob airing. Now, it might have gone to Bob next, so I don't know if I watched was a repeat. So this episode, I couldn't find Northern Exposure anywhere streaming. I found it on YouTube. There will be a link to the exact episode in the show notes. And of course, at 10 o'clock on CBS, there was a repeat of Northern Exposure, which, still had pretty good ratings. It still had better ratings than Hearts of Fire. I'll tell you that right now. But Monday Night Football seemed to win the night. What else was going on? Jay Leno, we don't know who was on the Tonight Show that night. That's really it for December 21st, 1992, which is only 4 days before Christmas, so they got this Christmas episode out pretty late. Usually you think you try to get it the week before. Yeah, that's it. I've got nothing more to talk about. Burt Reynolds' hair is spectacular. No Hal Holbrook. And, at one point I said he's smoking. He's wearing a big giant hat, wearing a big Steelers leather jacket looking thing. Like it looked very 90s. But you know what? It also was Burt Reynolds, so it's kind of cool. So that's it. I am done. Now listen, I already know what's going to happen tomorrow night, and I know what's going to happen, or it could be tomorrow morning. I don't know exactly when I get to it. No, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, so it's probably going to be tomorrow night. But tomorrow's show's available on Tubi, so there'll be a link to that one too. And Wednesday night, there was the return of a special guest. He's coming back to watch another episode of another show that we've seen before, that we're talking about again. The third time we're talking about this series. It's going to be quite animated, I'll say. Waka waka. I'm not going to tell you anything else. You're going to have to stick around. You have to come back. It's called Tickling Your Ass with a Feather, bringing you back for more. Now listen, in the meantime, okay, you can find me on all the socials at Geek Mentality. That's Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Mastodon.social at Geek Mentality. On Instagram, I said that already. On TikTok, it's Geek Mentality Mike. On Facebook, it's Fans Not Experts. And on YouTube, it's Fans Not Experts. And the website is fansnotexperts.com. All right. I'm done. I'm all set. That's it. That's all. I got nothing else. I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. But until then, ha 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 ha. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans, not experts.